Hey everyone, you have tuned into technically episode like 3, but episode 1, our official first episode of the Checkpoint, our first one. I am your co-host, Ryan, the Rugged Nerd Marshall, and with me, it's this way, right? Yeah, this way. Who's with me?
This guy, Mike Uonwi Supanich.
And we are going to
Entertainment needs.
Oh, dude, so entertaining. Like as entertaining as it gets. How did you have the first F-bomb? That's too soon. That's too soon.
Are you?
No, not too soon. Maybe too late.
It's debatable.
It's debatable. We got a great show
about tonight, Ryan.
We're going to talk about a lot of great stuff, Mike. Thanks for asking.
Hey,
Relative.
you need a question? I'll ask it.
Question mark? Who put a question mark on the prompter? So, yeah, we're going to talk about our favorite video game series.
You have a prompter?
We're going to talk about... Sorry, and by the way, for you people at home, when I'm looking down this way, it's because I'm looking at his little picture. I got to look at him. He's handsome. We're going to talk about PSVR. Obviously, it releases tomorrow. So, that's tomorrow is the Thursday, the 13th?
October 13th.
October 13th. We're going to talk about Mafia 3 and how they did not bring out pre-release copies for review. We're going to talk about For Honor cutting split screen and what that means for couch co-op and what couch co-op means for today's gaming. And if we get to it, our most anticipated game of 2017. But first, our favorite video game series and why. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first? I've been doing a lot of talking.
I'll start. This is kind of a tough one. There are so many good game series out there.
Absolutely.
I actually had to do some research and look up game series just to remember things like think about Resident Evil, think about Elder Scrolls, think about Mass Effect. Even though those are so big, you think game series, there's so many things that come to mind. I think I finally settled on kind of two. My favorite modern and kind of my favorite old school. So my favorite modern is Uncharted, which I haven't even finished. I haven't played the series, one, but I love that series. The storytelling, I feel like, is good. Good, and the gameplay is a lot of fun. It's just an all-around really, really fun series that I could play over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And my favorite old school one is the Suikoden series. So I played the first 3 of those, and there's actually 5.
I think you're the only one that's ever said that right. Suikoden.
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 Yeah, it's...
And so, yeah, that was offensive.
That's you. That's not even me this time. You're the one being fucking offensive.
It's just got so much depth, and there's so much to do, and there's so much strategy involved, and you can kind of play the game so many different ways because there's 108 different characters that you can play with. So I just always have a blast with it. What are your favorite series or series?
Series, I think it's Cyrus. Cyrus is the plural.
What are your favorite Cyruses?
So, like you, obviously, there's the wealth of incredible game series out there. Uncharted's great. Resident Evil's great. I would say I'm similar to you as far as having maybe a top 2 and a very close second. Well, so I should first say that this isn't necessarily, neither one of these series has my favorite game of all time in it, but as far as the series goes. My second favorite series is Metal Gear Solid. I never played
I didn't even think of that.
the original. Yeah, I never played the original Metal Gear. So my first experience with Metal Gear was Metal Gear Solid for the original PlayStation. And there's definitely a CP story there, so stay tuned for that. But I was just blown away, man. Because there's fucking gaming was, I just never knew gaming could be like that. I mean, it was the first truly cinematic game as far as fully voiced over and cutscenes, and it felt like you were watching a Michael Bay movie when that actually meant something. Now he's just a fucking explosion, horny bastard, and it was just bad, blew me away. But not my favorite game series. My favorite game series is Final Fantasy. Obviously, it's one of the greatest RPG series of all time, with some highs, with some lows, and I've experienced both the highs and the lows. My favorite game so far in the series is actually 10, which I wouldn't call it an unpopular opinion, but yes, it maybe interesting is an interesting pick. I think 7 and 6 probably are the one, or 9, 7, 6, and 9 are the ones that people typically like, was when they really could say like, or 4 of their favorite ones. I've actually never played anything before 7, so I played 7, I've played 8, I've played 9, I've played 10. I loved all of them. I did not like 10 too. I just wasn't into the fucking diva bullshit, like dress me up like Sailor Moon
Costume
and
changes.
it's fucking ridiculous, and like how it's just a terrible mechanic. I played a little bit of 11. I played 12 and I liked 12. I did not see. I didn't like 13 either. I didn't like the Lightning series of games, but as our executive producer knows, I played the fuck out of 14. I got gross with how much I fucking played Final Fantasy 14. I got real weird with it.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite game series. And 15, dude, like especially you being the MMO guy. You're the MMO guy. That's like it says it on your shirt. And I love the series. It doesn't actually say it on your shirt. I'm glad you checked. Just you weren't sure. You're like, does it?
I had to make sure.
You know my fucking shirt says.
Ooh, CPMG.
Boom. Officially repping that shit. You can find that on our fucking website, cpmg.com. We got a merchandise page.
So, yeah, it's checkpointmg.com. I don't know, but it was wrong. So, I thought about going with Final Fantasy. I feel like not that it's a really good answer. I wrote it down on my sheet, but I
put it on my notebook. I mean,
all but 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
Something like that.
And 15 looks awesome. Which I think
15 looks amazing. One of my favorite games of all time is Final Fantasy Tactics, which is sort of not outside the series, but sort of like an outlier.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that, but yeah, I love Tactics as well.
Right. There's a lot of side.
That was like. So I'm a big XCOM fan. Like even the early PC stuff, XCOM for 360. I even, just like I did Alpha Protocol, I even played that stupid fucking XCOM game where it was like third person. Executive producer, do you know what I'm talking about? What the hell's the name of that game? It was like
I think I own it actually.
XCOM, like, and no, it's not like the tactical XCOM.
Enforcer.
No, that's not what it is. It's like it's not the tactical.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Enforcer's the one where you play like as the guy, like you don't. It's not like a strategy game.
Right.
Yeah,
that sounds so weird. We're gonna have to have a fact check. Just like we need a fact check. Producers on it. Put that in our little conversation bubble. That's the thing I got right next to me. Anyway, so XCOM Declassified.
No, those are the new ones. It's not Declassified. It's not Enemy Unknown. It's not that. There's the very first one was XCOM UFO Defense, and then they made
the one that came out for Xbox 360. There's one that came out for Xbox 360. That was after Enemy Unknown, and it was supposed to be a first-person shooter, and then it got basically like remastered or remade to be the third. Yes, the XCOM.
I own that too.
It's not good.
But I haven't played it because I heard it was not good.
It's not. It's fucking not good.
Yeah, the Bureau XCOM Declassified. He's right.
So I played that.
Charles hit it on the head.
And so, Tactics is what like kind of led me down that road. Because now I love XCOM and I love Fire Emblem and stuff like that. So
yeah,
Final Fantasy for me, and Suikoden for you.
Yeah, old school RPGs, man. Those JRPGs, they get you.
Dude, I know it. All right, so PSVR. That's our next topic.
Man,
I barreled
coming out already. That's crazy.
Tomorrow, and our executive producer is the only one that's got it. He's got it tomorrow.
Phil's gonna have it tomorrow, and I'm excited to see what he thinks.
So like VR is important. I don't know if it's important tomorrow, but I think it's definitely, as far as the general industry is concerned, it's going to be very important very soon. I mean, like, this is something that I feel like probably within the next couple of years it'll be, in most people's homes that have a console. I mean, PSVR, from the initial reviews that I've seen and heard, it's getting really good stuff, that it's really comfortable. A lot of people say, IGN specifically, which I know all three of us love a lot, they said that the PSVR headset, they totally hate IGN, but So that the PSVR headset is actually the most comfortable headset that they've had for VR so far, and that for the most part it works really well, and there haven't been too many issues. I know one issue that a lot of people thought was that it was going to work better with the PS4 Pro, but from what I understand, the games that they have reviewed have all been played on the regular PS4, and there's been no problems there. So as far as PSVR goes, I'm happy with it. What are your thoughts?
I think there's a lot of things they. The best way I've heard it described is the voodoo magic that they do to kind of remove the screen door effect that you got on a lot of early versions of VR that didn't have the power to display the 1080p and the high resolution and to make things look really, really nice and crisp. And from what I've heard and read, it's very crisp. At times, I think that the tracking and the movement isn't quite as good as the Oculus or the Vive, but it's not enough to say that it's not worth it. And I think the biggest takeaway of all this is the total price point to get VR with the PlayStation. Yeah. It's a $400 PlayStation or $300 PlayStation now that they've dropped the price.
Yep.
And a $400 PSVR. So you're talking $700 total. That's cheaper than getting just the Oculus or the Vive by themselves. And then those need, they were marketed as needing, $1,200 computers. There's a lot of specs and there's a lot of articles coming out saying, here, we built a $500 computer, we made some tweaks to the settings, and it plays, it runs VR gorgeously. But that's you're still talking $1,300, $1,500.
Absolutely.
Up front to get a PC that can run it and the VR headset. So the price point with the really high quality, VR experience is huge. And it's huge that Sony's doing it first.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And the price point is key. And the thing is like you can, if money is no object, then sure. Like PC gaming is the way to go. You'll always get the max graphics. You'll always get the max output. You're guaranteed 60 frames most of the time. PC gaming, like that's where it's at. But as far as like what most people can do, both financially, and practically, because not to mention, not only, even if money was no object, like if you don't know like what you're doing when it comes to building a PC or having a gaming PC, like that can be very overwhelming. There's a lot of moving parts to really making like, okay, like I have nothing and I want a gaming PC, and here's $5,000. Like what am I supposed to do? But for the most of us, we go to the store, we go to Target or GameStop or Best Buy or wherever. Like you said, we drop our our 300 on a PlayStation and our 400 on a VR. We go home. Yeah, there might be some cords, there might be some initial setup, but then you plug in, you're good to go. And and the PlayStation Store makes it even easier. You don't even need to get a game. You just go and throw your debit card in, and you download a game, and you're good to go.
That's true. Unless you have your internet connection, and then you want to stick with the disc.
I know, it's like, I'm hardwired in. It's bullshit.
And I think, this is an unpopular position, I think, of people who watch this video. Maybe. We'll see. But we're kind of in a console era where owning a console gets you everything. Yeah. You don't have to have a PC. I know lots of people who strictly game on a console, and they can play anything that I can play on PC. And I have both. I have a PS4 and I have a PC. But they're not really being left out, except maybe for MMOs, and most MOBAs are on PC still. So it's smart that this is the way that Sony's going. Lots of people have PS4s. It's far and wide outselling any other console.
It's because it's really fucking good.
And Microsoft doesn't even have any
punches. Sony's where it's fucking at, and our executive producer wrote like a goddamn novel today explaining why to us in a chat.
The mouse and keyboard.
In a chat. Yeah.
Key to the PS4's future, apparently.
Well, and it's Sony just. I feel like Sony makes shit for their fans. They make games for their fans. I think they really had a misstep with PS3. Although PS3 had some great experiences on it. And I think they were like, whoops. And they learned from their mistake, which is why I'm looking forward to Nintendo, because they clearly, and the PS3 was great, and the Wii U is great, but it's still a misstep. So it's like I wonder if now the NX is going to just blow it out the water with their fucking cartridges, which is just so weird to me. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So, speaking of taking care of, your gamers and the media, Mafia 3, 2K Games did not send out pre-release copies.
Nice, very nice transition.
Thank you. I've been practicing. What do you think? Good move, bad move? No one cares?
I don't think that no one cares. I mean, this article was on more than one video game publication. And the thing is, history has shown when a game does this, more often than not, it's not a game that blows people away. Not necessarily a game that's bad per se, but what reason do you have to not send a pre-release copy? So in the past we've seen this happen with games like No Man's Sky, right? But there's some credence there because it's what they explained was an online universe, and it's like, so sometimes when you have server, or like Gears of War, right? They did send out pre-release copies of Gears of War, but like you weren't seeing a lot of final reviews because they, a lot of the, GameSpot, Kotaku, Game Informer, IGN, they wanted to test out the servers with the actual public before they made any final decisions.
It's a multiplayer game. You're expecting to use the bulk of the game is played online with other people. You can only review so much.
And playing, by yourself. Absolutely. And what Mafia did is it's a single player experience. There's no online, and they didn't send out pre-release copies, and sure as shit, they send it out, and, it's not getting bad reviews, but it's not really getting great reviews either. It's kind of getting these, like, middle-of-the-road reviews. I think it's sitting at, like, a 68 on Metacritic, which certainly isn't bad, but it's also not good. For some, if you were Twitch streaming it might fall more into a rent than a buy. Now, part of why I wanted to talk about this, though, so I bought it. I got it digitally. I got it day one. I'm not super fucking far into it, but I'm probably 3 to 5 hours in. Maybe not quite.
Did you like it?
But so that's okay. So it's more than it's complicated because the gameplay is very simple. It's very simple cover mechanics, something very similar to GTA 5. The driving feels very similar to GTA 5, a little bit more arcadey, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think you can change the control scheme to more simulation driving. The gameplay is not going to blow you away. I haven't really gotten into the meat of the game where you could start like taking over sections of cities. You basically have like these, I think, 3 lieutenants, and you're like little you're in your little mob that you can sort of get some of the area you do, and you could piss one of them off. They can try to kill you, and then you kill them, or you could try to balance it out so they all like you. So that's kind of the standard stuff. Now, what's getting me, and what has raised my expectations and my sort of how I feel about the game is the story. At the end of the day, will always prefer story over gameplay. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, there's obviously some exceptions. If the story's incredible, but the gameplay is just fucking dog shit, then sure. Like, I'm not going to
have a 10 story and a 1 gameplay. And
exactly. Then it's like, fuck that shit.
It doesn't even out to a 5.
I'd rather eat, Tic Tacs out of a stripper's butthole. But like it's if you can like get a good blend there, like that makes me fucking happy because. I've had, I'm playing XCOM 2. Those are the 2 games I'm playing, XCOM 2 and Mafia. That's what I'm playing right now. XCOM 2 has 10 gameplay for me. But, like, the story is maybe like a 6. It's pretty fucking standard affair. Aliens are taking over. You go to stop them. I mean, how many fucking times have we seen that story? So it's, like, not blowing me away. But I'm still having a great time with it. But it's also not a terrible story. It's not like, you have to use your weapon against this angry man. And then that's the story. The Mafia's really blown me, and it's kind of just something cool that I haven't actually seen in a game before. So it's strange. So the story's kind of being told. So the story's kind of being told from like the present day, right? So it's like takes place like in our time, and it's like you're hearing about Lincoln Clay, who's the protagonist that you play as, and they're like kind of like it's almost like a documentary style. So like you're hearing from like lead investigators of the case, lawyers, friends and family that are like, oh, Lincoln, and they talk about what the stuff that he does, and then they'll be like, oh, and then he did this or this, and then it'll kind of go back to like 1968, and then you actually get to play it, and like it's really cool, and like it definitely like. Obviously, like we won't get into it, but we know the state of our country right now and of the world, and like so, like it really tackles a lot of the hard issues. There's a gratuitous use of the N-word and like racism, but like and even Take-Two says, which I thought they handled with kind of a lot more class. There's like this sort of forward, this like written paragraph.
Yeah, I saw that.
That happens before the game starts. Well, it's sort of a disclaimer, but it's more or less just like explaining, like, okay, like this is what you're gonna get. But like we felt like not having it was almost more disrespectful than having it, because we want to tell the story and we want to show this is how it was in 1968. Like I don't know what you people know about your country, but like it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Like sometimes like there were a lot of shitty people and a lot of white people were really shitty, and so I'm having fun with it. Like I'm excited. Like I don't think the gameplay is doing anything revolutionary, but I think the story's awesome. And like again, for me, that's what sells me a game, is a great story.
So I think earlier on you kind of hit it on the head, where if they're not sending it out, maybe it's because
they're worried,
blow anybody away. I think that the Mafia series is a little bit of a niche series that it's not going to hit the whole market, and they know it's not going to hit the whole market, so people who want to play the game are going to play it.
Yep.
Whether it gets a good review or a bad review, a good review from IGN or GameSpot or whoever. It doesn't, any reviewer from the New York Times is not going to change the fact whether or not they play it. You either like the series and you're going to play it, or you don't care about the series and you're not going to play it, or you're not going to play it now.
Right.
And that's all they care about. They only care about the people who are going to play it now. So there's no real need to spend the money on sending out, 500 copies. I don't actually know how many copies they send out. Probably a lot, though.
Well, I guess nowadays I think it's a digital code that they send out, and they just give you access of it at a certain time.
Well,
so like for instance,
cheaper.
Yeah. So for instance, like most review copies that went out to like your major publications, they just had a digital code that just didn't work until like that Thursday morning when it was available in New Zealand, which I think is like the actual first market that gets access to video games.
I think that's right.
But even so, again, history has sort of showed that more often than not, that games that don't have those pre-releases aren't usually as good as maybe your typical, like I said, Gears of War, which I don't get it. Like, I'll fucking just say it right here, right now. Like, granted, I have beat Gears of War except for since I don't have an Xbox One anymore. Used to, traded it, and so like I just don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't fucking get it. There's a bunch of, we're talking like Chris Redfield type of steroids. These dudes in these fucking hulking mass armors with chainsaw fucking machine guns.
They're fighting hordes of enemies. I think it's necessary.
It's just, dude, I don't get it. But anyway, like that did really well. That just came out recently. But yeah, so I feel like Mafia falls in the line with like maybe like something like Infamous, where like it's not quite. It's AAA quality, but it's not quite gonna. Millions and millions of copies like your Uncharted and your Call of Duties and your Grand Theft Autos.
There's a group of people that want to play this game, and I've never played a Mafia game, and I possibly never will. That's kind of up in the air. If I'm real bored and they're all cheap, I may go, let's do a Mafia playthrough. But otherwise,
the only reason I got it was because I was a fan. Like I don't remember the first one at all. Came out for PlayStation 2. But now the second one I remember very fondly. Came out for Xbox 360. I think I played it and beat it twice. And so like it's because of that game that I was like, I'm gonna get Mafia 3. And yeah, so far I don't regret it at all. Like I'm having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, I do think I wouldn't call it a death sentence to not release your copies or your games for pre-reviews. I also don't think that it's people that I don't think it's to the point where people don't care either. I think it maybe falls somewhere in the middle. But people noticed because, like I said, this is a topic. This is a topic because people noticed they didn't send out the pre-releases. I don't really care, but people do. Some people do, some people don't. But I guess it's still too early to tell how well it sells, and if the pre-reviews had anything to do with it.
Yeah, and I think that's why there was no need to send out the pre-release copies.
Sure. So, alrighty. Any final thoughts on Mafia 3?
I'll never play it.
Well, you said you might if it's cheap and you're bored.
There's a lot to play.
Dude, that could be the name of my fucking biography. Cheap and bored.
Hey.
Hey-oh. Alright, so this one hits fucking real deep, and it cuts me deep. That For Honor cut split screen. Was that one good? Was that a good transition?
Get it? Because it's a sword fighting game.
Well, so there's I think there's like 3 levels of wordplay going on. There's like the sword fighting, there's cutting split screen, and then it cuts me deep. Dude, that's like
City.
That's like fucking Inception level time travel fucking wordplay.
We did a whole episode just about the puns you just made.
A lot of puns, a lot of fucking puns. But so all right, so this I don't think is important in the grand scheme of things. But dude, it fucking bums me out because I really like split screen. And our executive producer, I like to go to his place. And you know what we like to do? Play fucking split screen video games together. So if that was split screen and I was at his place, we'd fucking play it.
Franklin has a big TV and it is perfect for split screen.
And so I don't like how far away we've gotten from split screen. I mean, that was the standard for a long time, and then obviously, let's go back to Halo 2 when it changed everything with online. And, I get it, but, I still like my games that have split screen. There are those games that you can kind of count on. Borderlands tends to always have split screen. Halo, actually, up until, I think the last Halo had split screen. Call of Duty, oddly enough, usually had split screen. The new Battlefront just updated a lot more to give a lot more to the split screen modes. I think it's something that's maybe like Mafia definitely has its niche market of people that really enjoy that. Because it's it's cool to do online. Obviously, I mean it's made very easily. We could all link up with a headset and a controller, and it's like we're sitting in the same room, but nothing beats sitting in the same room, right? Having a couple beers, or if we were kids, having fucking Funyuns and Mountain Dew Code Red and pizza, playing fucking GoldenEye,
Hawaiian Punch.
Hawaiian Punch. That's good. Sunny D.
That was my drink.
Sunny D
back in the day.
Sunny D is fucking spicy. That shit has so much goddamn sugar into it. I mean, it would burn my throat.
It's spicy.
It's like those. Do you remember those juice barrels? Those little fucking juice barrels? Those things are fucking spicy, man. Those things are fucking spicy. Flavor ices are also spicy.
Like you could when you were a kid.
I don't have the stomach for it. I don't have the stomach for Sunny Delight.
Oh no, that stuff will probably kill you.
Oh, dude. I gotta say.
So I have a different perspective on the split screen. So when we were kids, I played a fair amount of split screen with our producer, David, and with other friends. But when I was a teenager, or when I was 18, I moved 600 miles away from everybody that I knew, and so I haven't really played, on the couch split screen in, nearly 15 years. So
you gotta change that.
In my perspective, the fact that our ability to play online, our ability to link up with people, and sort of things like share play on the PlayStation 4, where you're on the couch, you're just on separate couches, is the future, and that's a big deal for someone like me who, even now, you guys live in one, I live a long way away from you, and so to be able to play games with you guys, I need the internet, and I need the speed and the reliability that we've been provided for the past 10 years. Sure. I think it is a big deal if games start to go away from split screen, because you kind of...
they already have. I mean, they have for years at this point.
Right.
But
there's also a difference between, the For Honor, which is an online game, playing split screen, and, Halo, or a kart game, or a racing game, or something where you can get a bunch of people in a room. If Mario Kart's okay, we're going to be online only, you can't do 4 players on one screen anymore, it's all online, sorry guys, that would be devastating.
That would be a death sentence because Nintendo's kind of still stuck with that. That's the party console, right? That's the Smash.
Right.
That's the Mario Party. That's the Mario Kart.
So it'll never truly go away. But if you never try to recreate, GoldenEye 64,
Yeah.
where you have people all trying to kill each other, or watching each other's screens, trying to figure out where you are.
Don't pick Oddjob. Don't you fucking pick Oddjob. Like, that's the kind of person that picks Eddie Gordo in Tekken. Like, fuck you. Don't pick Eddie Gordo and dance on the fucking ground where I'm trying to punch you in the head, but you're too busy fucking capoeiraing my fucking knees.
Yeah, that's
Alex knows.
That's your personal vendetta.
Yeah, that's bullshit. So
it's a big deal and not a big deal. It's not a big deal because For Honor is an online game where having split screen is probably a very small part of the population that will play that game.
Sure.
It needs to survive in industry though. It's important for just hanging out, like you said, just hanging out and be able to drink some beer or some Kool-Aid or whatever and play some games with your friends.
Those are the only two options. It's either Kool-Aid or beer.
Yeah, that's actually true. Without having to both own a PS4 or an Xbox or whatever.
Sure.
Because there's always going to be that situation where, your buddy doesn't own an Xbox for whatever reason. His parents won't buy him one. He can't afford one, whatever. And so he comes over to play with you. And so sometimes you just need split screen. You just got to have it.
You just got to have that. You got to get that split. Do you think the current future generation plays things split screen? That's a good question. So our producer added a little topic of how do we feel split screen actually fares in this current generation. I think I'm with Mike. I think it is. It's a small percentage of people. Online, because you got to remember too. Like if you're 10 years old, like you probably grew up with online. You didn't even really grow up with split screen. Mm-hmm. And as those kids get older and become teens, and then they become in their 20s and 30s, yeah, like I definitely think that split screen is something that won't exist forever. I mean, it's inevitable that it's going to end because we're the ones that grew up with split screen. Even like the people that are like 35 or 40 didn't really have split screen. They might have had some same screen stuff on the Atari or like something on Nintendo. You kind of have to fit into a certain generation. You have to fit into that N64, that PS2, 360 to an extent generation that grew up with some split screen.
They're missing out.
Dude, it was great. So they grew up with online, and then they're going to be like
parties,
And I think just like the state of technology as we move forward, kids and teens are so attached to their iPads and iPhones and Androids and all that shit. So it's you've already taken away so much of the face-to-face. So online is that's just where it's just going to continue to grow. So to answer your question, I think split screen does have an audience now. I don't think it's a very big audience, but will there be one in the future? I doubt it. There might still be some games. Indies are a great opportunity to do some of that couch co-op. They still do it pretty well on the PlayStation 4. I don't know about the Xbox. I don't think they have indies at all. So they
none, 0. I actually checked.
Zing!
It's 0.
Zing, Xbox Zing. So yeah, I don't know how much of the future will have that split screening, but yeah, I can't imagine they'll stick around. Especially, VR is a fun thing to have right now, but there's going to be a point where VR is probably takes over, right? So it's at that point,
it's hard
actually,
to. Two-player VR.
At that point, that could be pretty cool.
Hard to do.
You hook up to, it's kind of like a new version of that. Might be the next split screen. Is you two motherfuckers sitting in a room together, humping each other in VR with two headsets on. I'd do it. I would hump you in VR. Would you hump me?
I
would hump each other. This guy, I'd hump this guy in VR. So maybe we'll get to have that. Maybe we'll get to have that one day. So our producer just let us know that the VR is launching with a game that one person plays with the TV, or so one person plays with the headset, the other plays with the TV. That's pretty cool.
So one's in VR and one's not, and I think that's it. I think that's inevitable. They already have games where one person's on the tablet, or the Wii has one where you have the big controller and you're doing whatever, and someone else is
like the Division. Controller. That was the thing that they were going to do at this one time and then didn't. Part of a long list of things that they were going to do and then didn't. So. That's the Ubisoft promise.
Super Mario Galaxy 1 is the first game I can think of that comes to mind where they had two players kind of played a game where one didn't.
I mean, that's like such bullshit two-player mode. Here, you do everything, and then you're like, ding, 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 shooting stars or whatever.
But that's the beginning. I mean, that's the control you give to your, to your 5-year-old sibling. To be like, here, shoot things on the screen, and so they get to play, but they don't actually do anything. That's actually genius for, the sibling where, the 10-year-old. Uh-oh.
That was weird.
We lost him for a second, but he's back. The man with the plan is back. Our producer, Felipe, says Zombie Wii U has a versus mode where one person uses the tablet to summon monsters. That's cool, actually. So without getting too far into this, it exists. And it's going to continue to exist in VR. So it kind of answers the question, couch play will continue to exist, but it's evolving, which is good. That's what we want. We want gaming to evolve. And we want it to evolve. We want it to not just. I mean, we don't just want to sit on our couches forever while our friend plays in VR. We want to be able to play together in VR or one on the TV or something like that. You don't always just want to be the one sitting and watching. So I think to your point, at some point we will want to, or we will move to where everybody just has a system, but it's hard to say. Hard to say for sure. So we are having some very slight technical difficulties where Mr. Ryan Marshall cannot hear me. He seems to be having a couple of connectivity issues. We're resolving that quickly. He will be back shortly. In the meantime, you can see his gorgeous mug in the best picture he's ever taken. We can hear him. Well, so check out this Super Mario Galaxy trailer while we see if we can get Ryan's microphone back. And now it's the Moonway Show! Play my theme music, producer. Oh,
press both the control
is he back?
and the attack button.
Can you hear me?
Smash it.
Mr. Marshall, can you hear me? That's alright. While he works on it, I will move on to our final topic, which is what are our most anticipated games of 2017? So it's a ways off. We're only in October of 2016. There's a ton of great stuff still coming out in 2016, but there's a lot of really good looking stuff for 2017 as well. I expect every single one of these to be delayed because that's what happens in video games, in the video game industry, but we can check out a few of them. And I think there's a lot. My personal ones that I'm looking forward to.
I can hear you now.
Hey,
I don't know what the fuck that was about.
That was crazy. I was holding down the fort without you as best I could. It wasn't the same.
For a real long time.
It wasn't the same, but I worked on it. We just.
What are we talking about?
Well, we heard my theme song for when I have my solo show.
Wait, are we still recording, by the way?
I just started.
Fuck yeah!
I just started talking about our most anticipated games of 2017. So
terrific.
There's tons of great stuff coming out in 2016 still, but it's time to look to the future. My number one most anticipated game right now is probably Horizon Zero Dawn. There's a lot of stuff up there. There's going to be tons of stuff to play in 2017. At least all the things that don't get delayed to 2018.
Okay, no, definitely.
But Horizon Zero Dawn's way up there. For Honor's way up there. That should be a really fun game.
It will be.
The original Sin 2 is supposed to come out in 2017, though I really expect that to get delayed to 2018. And then Vampire, which is supposed to come out late next year.
I know exactly what Vampire is. It looks awesome.
That looks
like it looks kind of like The Witcher in a vampire universe. So I have two picks. One that is more of a. I'm gonna give you everything. So like the first one is Mass Effect, which I believe just had a possible leaked release date of March, which actually seemed much sooner than I ever thought I would see it. And it was pretty reputable sources. Which would be awesome. I'd be really happy with that because we really haven't seen much from the game, and I like that. Like I like when it's just kind of like, yeah, here's some gameplay, so you know what the graphics look like. You know, you gotta get a little taste of what it is. But yeah, it's gonna release and it'd be great. And I love Mass Effect. And Mass Effect 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I am not part of everyone that just jumped on their fucking throat with Mass Effect 3. I mean, that game's always been more about the journey anyway. And like, what other game that I can't think of another game that exists on this planet where you can take one character through three separate games, and everything that you do in each game. Although the Mass Effect 3 ending didn't seem like it really had any weight to anything that you'd done prior. I mean, lots of decisions you made. Well, I mean, but even so, it's like those are more like, you know, granted, I didn't play all of 3. I played all of 2. I know there are some of your choices carry through, but I mean, I've never seen anything where like you are impacting the story as much as you do in Mass Effect. Anyway, that's not what I'm. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, the one that is kind of up in the air, it's kind of like a loose release, is Kingdom Hearts 3. That's kind of like the white whale of Square Enix right now. It's like another game that we've almost seen nothing, like we've seen so much and yet nothing of it. You know, I understand that 15 is their priority right now, as it should be. Like, that's what's coming out next, and it looks incredible. Like, all three of us can't wait. All three of us are going to buy it. But Kingdom Hearts I like Kingdom Hearts a lot, and, you know,
it's a fun game.
And I'm just looking forward to it. But mostly Mass Effect, because I feel like Mass Effect is 27, even if it doesn't release in March, like it maybe said. I feel like it's coming out next year, no matter what. Kingdom Hearts might not even be next year. I don't really know. Yeah. So, because I know there's planned DLC for Final Fantasy 15. I mean, there's a season pass coming out with it, so I'm sure that's probably going to be the focus, at least for the time being.
They've got a lot going on for sure. They could wait on Kingdom Hearts, and I don't think it would be a problem. They'd still get to sell tons of copies, you know, whenever it does come out. So.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Any final thoughts for the show?
Yeah. So something recently announced today, actually, I think, is that the PS4 Pro will support SATA 3.0 interface for the hard disk drive.
Which I can tell
you that our producer, Bill, this is a big deal to him.
Okay.
He has been complaining about the PS4 not having SATA 3 since before it launched. Do you know how many times I've had to listen to him complain for an hour? Like, I'm not kidding you. I don't even know what the fuck is SATA 3. He's so hung up on the fact that it has SATA 2 that it's been at least, I don't know. I probably sat through total 8 hours. Like, it's nonstop. It's every time it comes up. Like, it's like an hour that he has to talk to me about this. Like, I just start doing other things. And
we need to have a conversation. What the fuck is SATA 3?
So I can't break down all the technical details. That's what our producer's for. That's his job, is to break down all the technical stuff.
But he's deaf and mute, so he can't talk to the world to tell him. Deaf and mute.
I mean,
Helen Keller?
the basics of most connectivity upgrades.
Did she have hands?
What?
Did Helen Keller have hands? I don't think she did. Anyway,
Yeah,
I don't think she did.
she has hands or had hands. She
Has?
still has hands.
She's with Tupac and Elvis.
I don't think they cut off her hands after she died. She has hands.
We are Wikipedia told us she has hands.
Quentin,
That's
our
the first
producer,
thing.
confirmed. Helen Keller.
It just says Helen Keller. She has hands. All right.
So
Anyway.
basically, just like USB 3.0, it just makes things are faster, the connectivity is better, it can move data more quickly and more of it to just allow, for better reaction and.
So it's like UPS versus FedEx.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, is it FedEx versus UPS?
It's nothing like that, actually.
I am getting confirmation that our producer agrees with me.
So our producer can agree or deny that, in a very general sense, what I'm saying is.
All right, so
It's
SATA
most
3.
important to the people who don't care.
This is like This is teraflops. This is teraflops all fucking over again.
There's nothing
This guy fucking sat on the goddamn stage during the Microsoft press conference like, yeah, my goddamn fucking Scorpion's got 6 teraflops. I'm like, nobody knows what that means. What the fuck is a teraflop? Can I hold a teraflop? Can I hold a teraflop like I can hold a cheese sandwich? No? Maybe? I don't know, because I don't know what fucking teraflop is, and I don't know what SATA 3 is.
Do you see the teraflops?
Is SATA 3
In
what
hands?
R2-D2 is? Is it a droid? I don't know. But if he's excited about it, I'm excited about it, because he's a smart guy. And he knows about the good stuff, so I need to know about all my SATAs, 1, 2, and 3. I want all the SATAs.
So,
This is really
I think
exciting.
that's it
It's
for
not
this
being
week.
told.
we will wrap up on SATA 3 for the PS4 Pro. If you don't have a PS4, get a PS4 Pro.
Yep.
That's my endorsement.
That's good. My nose is itchy. I swear to God, I don't do coke. Like, I know I'm very animated, and it probably seems like I do coke, but
Right.
I got my it. All right, that's it. Sorry that my connection dropped out. I'm a prick.
Right.
But it won't
Stuff
happen next
happens.
time.
When my connection drops out, you'll hold the show together for me.
Dude, I got this. All right, thanks for listening. This is
Yeah.
our first, second, third show, but our first show technically, so check it out soon.
It's our
And
11th.
check out our CP stories, and check out our website, checkpointmg.com. Lots of cool fucking shit. Twitch is there, merch is there, YouTube
Lots of
is there.
secrets.
It's all fucking thing. This guy over here, handsome
Hey,
man
guys.
next to me.
Thanks for
Peace.
watching. We appreciate it. He appreciates it. I
You
appreciate
appreciate it.
We will see you next week.